Welcome to week 10 of the We So KY Fantasy Football Pod, man. We back for another episode. We got my man Rick the Bull with us. Rick,
You're
what's happening?
what's popping, my guy?
We got my man Don Coleon. Don, what's happening?
You know it, man. Just chilling.
We got Rob the Great. Ribbo. What's happening, Rob?
It can't get much worse. It can only go up from here.
We got my man Bravo.
What it do, man?
And we got Daniel Smith, Bruce Stacks with us today. Man, look, y'all. We in week 10. It looks like the usual suspects are at the top. We doing what we do. Everybody else is fighting for playoff spots for the most part, man. I mean, last week we had one versus 2 and 3 versus 4 last week. So we sorting out the top right now. Coming down the stretch. Everything's looking on the up and up in the league. We got some trades happening. We got some late moves, some suspect moves. My man Bravo was able to get rid of JT a couple of weeks ago, and now Rob has the curse. So we just gonna go ahead and tap into the week 9 scores and the Catfish. Don?
All right, we're gonna get the Catfish out the way early. We had number 8 versus number 10. We had Show Me the Money, Vince versus Ribbo. And Rib, you put up 39.84 points, and this is your second week in a row as a low man. I'm not sure we've ever had a repeat low man yet. Somebody had to search the records for that one. But going on to the next game, we got Go Getters versus IR Boys. We got Meech versus Brew. Meech pulled off a nice little win. He won 94 90 to 70 76. And looks like Kenneth Walker and Kenneth Drake basically carried him to a win. I mean, King Drake gets you 22 points out of nowhere. I mean, that's not something you can really prepare for. Never know what that Baltimore backfield for real. Moving on up, I got your favorite piece of bacon versus the team has no name. We got Rizzo Kane versus Rick the Bull. Highest scoring matchup of the week. I want to say the top 2 scoring teams of the week in one matchup. So that sucks. You put up that many points and come out with an L. But at the end of the day, points do matter when it comes to that playoff position. So you always want to put up points. Yeah. Meech got that Mahomes, Kelsey combo. Devontae Adams went nuts in basically one quarter. And I mean, hell, what could you do with that, man? Definitely that was the matchup of the week. Moving on forward, we got Coleman and the GM nobody knows, Derek, aka Bird. Coleman won that by 11, 81-72 to 70 even. Coleman escaped one because the only person that really put up for him was ETN, man. That was slippery slopes for him. After that one, we got Como and Bravo. All Love No Trust versus Endgame. Como edged that one out. That was some wild shit too. All Love No Trust. Como 191-94 to 90-50. Then we got Commissioner Pete versus Devin. And yeah, Devin's kind of seemed like a pretender this week. Pete pulled away and won big. It's kind of crazy. Pete winning these big matchups in the regular season, so we know how the playoffs gonna go for him. One and done. Last matchup, we got me sipping tea in your hood versus Jones, the new king, and he slapped me in the face, man. I never want to play Josh Allen again. I think only 2 people scored touchdowns on my team, and one of them was the defense. So when that happens to you, it's not a good week for your fantasy squad. And yeah, he got me by a good old 30 piece, man. And just to circle back to it, Rib, back to back low, man. I thought I'd never see the day coming. I mean, Rib's a good GM. He has multiple chips. I don't know, man. Just like the Colts, man, it might be time for a new face of the organization to move on, man. Pete, back to you.
Hey, Ribbo, you got 39? 39 of them things. You didn't get 40? That's a tough week right there, man. Looking at the week 10 matchups, bravo. What you got for us?
Yes, sir. All right, so we're going to kick it off. I'm going to go down the list. Obviously, it starts with my matchup. I got me and Don this week. In game, sipping tea in your hood. Right now, I'm projected to win, but it's only because Don hasn't added his new additions to the lineup yet. So my team probably gonna be fighting for their fucking lives again. I hope I get a win, but at this point, that's all I can do. Next, we got Coleman versus Neal. Give me strength versus uphill. Again, I think Neal has to add in the pieces he traded for because right now Coleman's projected to win. I mean, Neal's been steady all season long, with the exception of last week. I think I like Neal in that one. Next, we got Como, All Love No Trust versus Kane, your favorite piece of bacon. This will be a fun matchup because Como is consistently hating on him and Coleman for being cops. So right now, Kane's favored to win by 9, but again, you never know what can happen. I think I'm gonna say I like Kane in that matchup. After that, we got Rick, A Team Has No Name versus Derek, aka Ron, aka Berg. Rick is currently projected to win. He probably is going to win because Ron's team has been on the struggle bus since week 2, and my boy has not found his way off. Next, we got Meech versus Rob. Go Getters versus Kiss Your Money Goodbye. Currently, Meech is projected to win. Hey, Rob, you my dog. I hate it had to be you. 39 points last week. That's tough to come back from, but we going to send some prayers up to the football gods, and hopefully they bless you with a better week of scoring, man. Next, we got Brew versus Pete, the IR boys versus Respectfully. As of now, Pete is currently projected to win by almost 10 points. But again, projections mean absolutely nothing. I don't know. It could be a toss-up. Was like to see how that was going to go, but that's a 2-6 matchup. And then last but not least, or actually last but least, we got Vince versus Jones. Show me the money and the new king. Again, currently Jones is projected to win that game by about 9 points. Jones' team is very unpredictable. One week he'll look like a world beater, like last week, and then the next week he'll look like he has no business in fantasy football. So we'll see what happens with that matchup. But that's week 10 for you. Pete, I'm going to kick it back to you.
Yes, sir. Week 10, we got some good matchups in week 10, man. I mean, hopefully everybody gets a dub that needs a dub. I mean, I don't think I need too many more to get in the playoffs. So, I'm probably just going to coast it on in like a smooth Cadillac. But speaking of bottom of the barrel, it's Saturday, Jeff Saturday in Indianapolis. Rob, man, what the Colts doing?
I have no idea. I think maybe he just doesn't trust anybody in the organization. So he just maybe wants Jeff Saturday to come in and figure out what's going on. It's no way in hell. He thinks Jeff Saturday can coach an NFL team mid-season. So hopefully he's brought him in the tank because I think that's what he's doing. And as far as my fantasy team, man, look, I don't have anybody playing and I can't drop nobody. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's out. And this bye weeks is killing me. So it's either drop my good players, let y'all have a feast on, on waivers, or just take these L's. I'm still in 8th. So, hopefully I get Hollywood back next week. JT was at practice this week, so hopefully Jeff Saturday can at least get the offensive line going. So I think I'll be all right. So, just got to have some hope. I'm still here and I know I'm still dangerous, so.
Rick, man, looking at the Colts, and Rob touched on it. He just touched on it. Is Jeff Saturday in to coach up the run game? Is that where they're going with it? Is that what you see?
Pete, I don't know what Jeff Saturday's there for, bro. I don't understand it. Like, you got so many other coaches out there that I feel like is qualified. Like, give them a test run, promote your offensive coordinator, promote your defensive coordinator. Don't bring in somebody who's like talking about every football team on ESPN this past Sunday. I don't understand it. I told Ryan, like, I expect the Colts to be good every year with the money they have and And I thought they would draft pretty good. They drafted good on the offensive line, but just a lot of bad decisions on the Colts' behalf, man. They bringing Jeff Saturday in as your head coach. Hell, they might as well bring us in there. Have you as the head coach, Pete. Have Rob as the defensive coordinator. I'll be the linebackers coach. Have Bravo as the offensive coordinator. I mean, we probably do the same thing he can.
I mean, wait a minute. Y'all hired Joe Judge, bro. Like, don't go crazy, bro.
He a better coach than you don't even know what Saturday got going, bro.
I know. Watch out, bro.
Real. He had a losing season. His last coaching job, he was a high school football coach, and they had a losing season. Relax.
He wasn't coaching sir and losing, was he?
Man,
he was coaching sir.
Down in Georgia, man. You know it's different down there. I think what they say.
Hey, we got y'all. What we got y'all New Year's Day?
Yeah.
What that boy Bart Scott say? Can't wait.
Don, looking at the coach situation, man. What move would you have made as a coach wise? Because I know you know a lot of OCs, you know a lot of defensive coordinators, you know a lot about the coaches in the league, man. What?
I mean, in the middle of the season, there's not much you can do because typically coaches wait to the end of the year to actually switch teams. They certainly could have hired, promoted somebody within or somebody off the street. I mean, they could have traded for Sean Payton. I know the Saints ain't going to do nobody no favor, but I mean, he's an option. That's a coach with experience that you could have brought in immediately. Saturday, I'm not sure if the owner is trying to drive down the overall value of the team. I'm not sure what his motive here is, what his angle is. I would love to figure out what his end game is here because, I mean, he has all of us confused. The only thing I say, this might work well for them for one quarter because nobody has a playbook on what Jeff Saturday is going to do. But after that quarter is up, it's straight downhill, and I can't wait to see the Colts. What is it, the week after this? Yeah, Eagles will be coming in, and I don't know, man. It might get ugly for them boys. And honestly, y'all might as well just shut JT down. Y'all bench Matt Ryan. He seems like the best quarterback on the roster, but I don't know, man. Y'all have at it.
Don, we don't have a playbook yet.
What if the Colts is doing this to get Sean Payton, sign Lamar, and have a high draft pick?
I mean, they could have already traded. You got to trade for Sean Payton.
Come on,
you can't
Rick,
just sign him. You got to send something to the Saints for him. From what I've been seeing.
Yeah, but
who do you get in the draft, bro? Bro, who you think they gonna go get in the draft, man? Like if the coach tank, I mean, they got to run it back in JT. They got Pittman. They need a quarterback. I mean, looking at the college quarterbacks, I'm not sold on them guys either. But who do they go get?
Hey man, hold on. Take your ass back upstairs. Don't come over here bother.
Bro, we can't hear you.
My bad. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right. Honestly, with the Colts, I don't know what they would do as far as quarterback. They do have to take a chance on getting their own quarterback. They can't keep on going to getting 16-year veterans. I mean, that was not it. I mean, the only one they could have got that probably would have worked out for them was Tom Brady, and they didn't do it. So I don't know what they're saving for. I don't know if they're saving for retirement. They keep saving all the draft picks and cap space. I don't know what they're doing. Seems like they like Ohio State guys at wide receiver, so maybe they'll take a quarterback out of Ohio State. Like I said, I don't believe in any of the quarterbacks coming out, really. So knowing the Colts, they might not. They seem to analyze prospects pretty good. I think they would probably wait and try to take somebody later versus spending an early round pick on an unknown. But they got to do something. I like Jeff Saturday as a TV personality. He's pretty cool. Like Rob said, maybe they'll get the offensive line together and they can just run the ball 45 times. It's kind of hard when both your running backs are hurt, though. So I don't know what the Colts are doing. Jeff Saturday himself said that he was surprised and shocked when they called him. So that just kind of gives you a brief analysis of what direction they went with coaching. I don't know if you saw that video. Somebody posted it in the chat where he just listened to a bunch of songs that had the word Saturday and he brought in Jeff Saturday, man. That seems like that's what they did. Because out of anybody he could have called in, I mean, I would have even not been that surprised if he called in Peyton Manning, but Jeff Saturday, bro, that's insane. So I don't know what the Colts are doing. I assume they're tanking. They have like 3 or 4 wins. So unless they don't win any more games, tanking really is not going to help them if they keep winning games. I don't think they will though with Jeff Saturday. So it's all good.
Man, hey, I personally I believe Jeff Saturday is going to come in. He's going to simplify the game. You know, it's all about making it fun. As crazy as it is on the pro level, you know, those guys are still young. A lot of players under the age of 25, you know, they're still trying to find their way. I think that Jeff Saturday might be more relatable because a lot of the guys that's coming up in the league now, you know, they watched football when they were coming up, and then when you put somebody in front of them that was a star when they played, they have a little bit more respect for those guys. You know, they got to have some sort of a name in place to actually grasp these young guys' attention and get them to play harder. Bravo. What do you think about the Colts, man, and Jeff Saturday?
Hey, man. I don't know, bro. It's questionable. I mean, as Rob said, I just feel like they don't really have any faith nor trust on anybody that's on the current coaching staff. Because what's crazy is apparently they already have 2 guys that used to be former head coaches on staff right now as coordinators, and they decided to go with the unproven guy over them. So that lets me know they have zero faith in the guys that are on their staff. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just completely clear house and have a brand new coaching staff next year. I personally have been like surprised because, you know, as they brought up, the Colts have had all this money over the past few seasons to spend on free agent. It's just like they won't pull the trigger on anybody. I'm thinking to myself, like, what are you waiting for, bro? Like, you know, you can't hold the money, like spend it somewhere. So it's either do it in free agency, like draft well, trade some draft picks to move up in the draft. I don't know, bro, but you know, I feel your pain, Rob, because you know the Niners had a nice little stretch where we was ass. So, you know, it gets hard sometimes, but this is where our fanhood is tested. So I got faith in you, dog. Just hang in there. It's gonna get better at some point.
Rob gonna be rocking some Las Vegas Raiders gear here real soon. I think that Colts is almost gone. Coach, he's almost done with the Colts. But I tell you, somebody who is cooking, man. We tapped in on him earlier today, and you know we're gonna talk about him. My man Sauce, Buffalo Wild Wings favorite Sauce Gardner. Hey Rick, is he the truth? And you're a Giants fan, so you talking about the rival. You talking about the Jets. Yeah. So is Sauce the truth?
Absolutely. Like I said about 2 or 3 pods ago, and I say it damn near every pod, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Look at the stats. Look where PFF has him ranked. Like when the draft came on, I had said that I wanted him as at the pick we was at. I think we was 5th pick, and the Jets swooped in and got him right before us, and we ended up getting Thibodeau. But he just one of those true lockdown corners. He had size, like he didn't allow a touchdown in college, so he had that pedigree coming in. And, you know, everybody was like, oh, he's going to the Jets. He has to guard Diggs. He has to guard Waddle and Tyreek. Like, he has to deal with them in their division. And, you know, I think he's doing a good job. He's a rookie. And I think the Jets is in good hands, man. Their defense is really good, and he's one of the anchors along with Quincy and Quentin Williams. But, yeah, Sauce is real deal, man. I think he's a Pro Bowler this year. I think he'll be all pro in the next couple years, and I think he can end up being the best corner in the league in the next few years.
I mean, in the NFL, we see a lot of DBs. I'm playing devil's advocate. We see a lot of DBs have good seasons, right? They'll come in and they'll have a good season like Diggs, and then they'll come back and they'll get cooked because the film is out on them. You know what I'm saying? The film is out, and they see the weaknesses. Offensive coordinators, when I say they, offensive coordinators see the weaknesses and they see the tendencies of these young cornerbacks. Yeah. So, I mean, down the line, I mean, he got the best of Diggs, right?
Yeah.
Does he get the best of Diggs again? That's the question. If you do it once, you got to do it again in the NFL. It's like okay, this Sunday you got off, but you have to come back and you have to do it again. It's not just one-time thing. And me looking at Sauce, he's getting the best of everyone in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
He has to show me he has to do it twice.
No, for
he
sure.
He has to do it multiple times.
For sure, but with Diggs from the Cowboys, I mean, we knew what his weakness was. He gambles a lot.
Yes.
He tries to go for the pick. What weakness has Sauce shown? That's the thing. Like, he hasn't really shown any weaknesses. So, like, until there is a weakness shown, like, you can't really say that. I mean, but you're right. He definitely has to go against, Diggs again, Waddle and Tyreek and him again. But if he continues to do what he's doing against those receivers, it's like it's undisputed to me.
Bravo. How you feel about Sauce?
Listen, man, all I got to tell you is put the tape on. You can say what you want, because I know a lot of people, when they were going back to that whole, he never allowed a touchdown in college, they look at the competition he was playing, because he played at Cincinnati. Whatever you ask anybody that played ball, what is the hardest position to play? They either say quarterback or cornerback. I don't care what level of comp you playing, bro. Not giving up a touchdown in 4 years as a cornerback is impressive. So that alone lets you know, like, this ain't a regular kid, bro. Like, he's special. He got something different. Then he comes in and he's matched up every week against the top receiver, and every week he's holding his own against the top receiver. So it's easy to say, like, okay, can he get him the second round? This is what you got to think, bro. He's only going to get better with experience and time. So if he's doing this now, imagine what he's going to be like in 3 or 4 years when he's got a lot of game experience under his belt, and he knows all the tricks of the trades, and he knows everything to look for, and he's better at reading offenses. Bro, it's going to be like Revis Island all over again, fam. Like, he's a true lockdown corner. Like, I think we're going to see a stretch like what we saw with Revis. I think we're going to see a stretch like what we saw with Richard Sherman for about 2 or 3 years when he was in Seattle, bro. Like, they played mostly zone there, but you couldn't throw the ball to that side. Like, it was completely shut down. Now, I think the only thing that'll probably bite him in the butt at some point is going to be Father Time. Because at some point, you're not as fast as you used to be. You can't cut as quick as you used to. But other than that, man, I just feel like he's going to be special, bro. Like, I thought so when he was at Cincinnati. I still think so now.
Don, you got 2 nice receivers up there in Philly, man. I mean, 2 nice DBs up there in Philly, man. So, how you feel about Sauce? Could he fit in with the Eagles, man? Is he a top DB?
I feel like what he showed us and what we got on film and the numbers. I mean, right now he seems to be a top DM, a top DB. With that being said, I mean, they also got another guy on the opposite end of him. I can't recall his name right now, but he's playing lockdown D too. With that, Reed. It just kind of makes me wonder why they do switch to a zone sometimes. Because of course that requires help and other people to play as a team. When you got 2 DBs like that, especially Sauce, who's graded as the #1 overall coverage cornerback right now. Why not just trust them? Let them wear down the opposing team's top wideouts, because, I mean, if they that great, which they appear to be, I let them play man more versus worried about the zone, where if you get enough time or you got a veteran enough quarterback who can dissect the defense, is eventually going to pick that off anyway. Because we seen it was like one of the first plays from Buffalo. Jets was in zone and Diggs burnt them for like 48. Why not man up, put your best players on their best players and let them go head to head? But right now I do believe Sauce is the best cornerback based on what he's shown and proved right now. And as a rookie, that's incredible, and he should be not only defensive rookie player of the year, but defensive player of the year.
Bravo.
Oh, yeah. No, I just wanted to come in and comment, without cutting off, and just say, I mean, it sounds good to say let's play man every down, but at the same time, just like you say, let's wear down the receiver. You don't want to wear down your cornerback either. Also, in order to play man, that typically implies you trying to put a lot of pressure on, so you're probably going to be running blitzes. It's going to depend on your personnel. Like, if you got the front line and the linebackers that going to get to the quarterback, then you probably going to play more man. If you're not necessarily confident in your front 7 to get to the quarterback, you don't want to put your corners in a man-to-man situation every down. So, and it's also good to mix up your defense to confuse the offense. I just want to throw that in there. But I still think Sauce is the truth.
Rob, What's your take on Sauce, man?
He's nice, man. I don't think he's the best in the league. I think he's having probably the best season as a rookie, which is incredible. But I don't think he's the best in the league. But I mean, you can't play man every time. I mean, honestly, play man on Lamar Jackson. Play man on Josh Allen. Like they had to play some zone man because he's gonna take off on you. Like you can't play man on some of those guys that can break the pocket. They just hurt you too much because you need somebody that's going to come up and be able to tackle them. But I mean, now Sauce he is locking people up though. But at the same time, it's a long season, man. It's a long season, and corner is hard, man. And I think they're going to start getting some bigger games too. So we'll see.
I think quarterbacks will start targeting him a little bit more. With the success he's having. Don, what you mean? No, I just feel. I mean, if looking at it, I mean, most coaches, we're gonna go after him. Don, you don't think we should go after him?
Nah, man, he got the size, he got the speed, he got the athleticism, he has the awareness. I don't think that's someone you won't pick on too much.
Won't have much success throwing to that right side, huh?
Yeah, just going the other way, man. Ain't no reason to do that.
Yeah. But hey, I want to switch the subject real quick, man. I want to bring in Bruce Stacks. I want to ask him about these talk about these Las Vegas Raiders, man. Because Vegas can be a little too much for you sometimes. And Brew, Vegas can be a little too much for people sometimes, man. So, what about these Raiders? We looking at the Raiders. They're not winning. The team's falling apart. Derek Carr's playing terrible. Devontae Adams obviously is not happy. Is it the city or is it the team?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of foresaw this. Man, I feel like anybody could, honestly. I mean, it's a Bill Belichick descendant, but it's also just Josh McDaniels. He wasn't good to me in Denver the first round. I feel like Bill's guys are good under his watch. He can pay attention to all the little small details they need to correct, and they can just run the plays. But he can say, "Hey, tighten this up over here and there," and what I'm saying, that kind of helps run the ship. When they got to do it on their own, as we see, they're just not that successful. As far as the city of Vegas, though, I mean, it's something about the stigma around Vegas and something that, goes into your head mentally. Because, I mean, you got cities like New York, LA, Miami, where they're open pretty much 24 hours too, and you can do everything under the sun. But it's just like, I don't know. Vegas is just different. It's the shows, the lights, a lot of vacation tourists. People just coming there to get loose and have a ball. So when you got that 24/7, I mean, you've been there plenty of times too. 3 or 4 days straight of that. When you living in, and then imagine being rich, you know what I mean? Like, we're a little bit older, but you can just go back 5 years ago. If we was millionaires, it would be a problem. So I do think so. I mean, football takes up a lot of your time, but I mean, you live there, so you can't be at a football facility 24/7. So all it takes is one night. So you could be 95% of the time on your P's and Q's, and I mean, like Henry Ruggs, one day, one night, I was actually out there, Rob, we was partying, and that happened. So, yeah, I think they didn't really think that through, especially for the sport. I mean, it's football players, they kind of wild. They're not as structured as like maybe a baseball player or anything like that. I don't know, man. They might not be in the right city, and they might not have had the right. I mean, it's just not the right organization. It's the Raiders. It's not the Patriots. It's the Raiders. Like, that's not the right organization to move to Vegas.
So what are you saying? You saying the Raiders don't have the discipline in the organization to function in Vegas? Is that what you was hitting on?
Definitely what I'm saying.
Rob, you out that way. Is Vegas too much for the Raiders, man, and the players? It's not the Raiders organization. Well, it might be the organization, but more so the players. Is Vegas too much for the players?
No, I don't think it's too much. I think it's for real. It's just the Raiders. Like, I mean, you out here, so you even hear their front offices in shambles. They was doing all type of stuff with the taxes and everything. So I mean, they're still in trouble for that. So it's just that whole entire organization is just I mean, it's just a clown show for real. So I think it's just the Raiders. And then you had John Gruden. It was kind of like that. I don't know, like that mean general guy, but he still was just letting players do whatever. That was drafting a bunch of guys that was just doing kind of dumb stuff anyway. So I think it's just the Raiders because the WNBA does good here. The hockey team, they don't get in trouble. The A's are coming, and they're getting the NBA team too. So it's not the city. It's just the Raiders organization. If they were in Oakland, it'd probably be worse, I think. But yeah, it's just
So the Raiders got to Vegas basically because of their fan base. The fan base is the reason. Is that the reason? I'm asking.
The reason the Raiders got here is because they got that stadium. Vegas was willing to pay for that stadium, and Oakland was playing. So Mark Davis made the move.
That fan base travels well. I know the city's live on Sundays.
I'm gonna try to go to the game this week, so I'm gonna see how packed out it is because both the teams are trash. So we'll see.
Bravo. Vegas too much?
Nah, man, I don't think it's the city. I think it's the team and just the organization as a whole. Case in point, we don't hear all this trouble coming out of Miami. And, Miami just as lit as Vegas is. So, again, I don't think it's the city. I think it's the organization. And as Rob mentioned, bro, like you got other sports teams there having success and not having the same issues that the Raiders are having. So I think they just need to take a look at the staff from the top down and go in and make some organizational changes. I don't think it's the city, bro. I just think it's the Raiders. The Raiders ain't really been about nothing since they had Rich Gannon. So it's been a grip.
Bro, you got to say the Raiders. When you got to say the team's name twice, come on, man. The Raiders are the Raiders.
It's the Raiders.
So the Vegas thing, I mean, I think they can handle it. It was only 2 football players that really messed up. I mean, Ruggs, that might be attributed to him being young, pocket full of money, and being in Vegas. So he probably wilded out. He probably never even experienced Vegas before in his life. Then they had Damon Arnett. He posted some guns on the internet, and yeah, he got cut. But yeah, we've seen that other teams can survive around there. They may not get the notoriety or the public eye that the Raiders do, but it seems to be done. It's just the Raiders themselves, man. I honestly don't have too much to say on them. I expected more out of them and the AFC West as a whole.
Rick, do you see the Raiders righting the ship?
So I'm gonna piggyback off what Don said because that's what I was gonna say too. I think a lot of it's just the youth of the team. Like there ain't really been a lot of people that's got in trouble. He touched on Arnett. He touched on Ruggs. Was just real young and got a lot of money in a big city like Vegas. I think the Raiders. I think it is the Raiders organization. I think it's the GM. I think it's Mayock. Like I think he's just a poor assessor of talent. Honestly, a lot of these like Cleveland Farrell was a reach. Like everybody when he got drafted, everybody said that. Like he was a reach. Jonathan Abram. I like Jonathan Abram. Hell, I had him as one of the best safeties on Madden when I was playing on Madden, but he got drafted too early as well. And a lot of it, man, they just don't fit some of the schemes for the coaches that they bring in. I mean, you went from you've had 3 coaches since they've been in Vegas now. Like there's no stability there. So it's really a lot on the front office. I don't think the city's too much for the Raiders as a football team being there. I just think it's the people running the organization, and I think they need to fire their GM. And somebody had touched on McDaniels. He's just not. I don't think he's it either. But yeah, I think they could survive there. They just got to change their personnel in the offices.
Man, the Raiders they in a tough spot. I mean, speaking on my experiences out there, I definitely couldn't focus. It's always something to do. The fights, the games, the gambling. Yeah, I probably would have been in trouble. I probably would have been betting on the Raiders, but I wouldn't have bet them to lose. Just like Pete Rose says, my nickname ain't Pete for a reason. I ain't bet us to lose. I'd have bet us to win. But a guy that's he's riding the ship in the NFL This young quarterback. We're gonna touch on Justin Fields. Don, I'm gonna let you have the floor, man. This is your guy right here.
Yeah, I'm extremely biased, and I'm not sure if it's the whole team is so bad to where he just looks extraordinary, or if he's truly going to be a great quarterback. Because Ohio State really don't have those guys at all. We have Stake and Burrow, I guess, but I mean, his success was at LSU. But kicking it more to Justin Fields, I mean, NFC Offensive Player of the Week. He scored 4 touchdowns with the Bears. That's simply amazing. I hope Madden definitely gave him a boost on something after this week. He had 8 rushes of 10 plus yards in this last game versus Miami. Only NFL player to do that. And he also broke the regular season single game rushing record by a quarterback. So he's etched in the record books for quite some time, it seems. His passing yardage really scares me. Right now, I believe he's like QB7 fantasy overall, but none of his receivers are like in the top 40. So Bears certainly need to get him some more help there. You can't have a quarterback if you don't have no receivers willing to catch the ball. I feel like they could have played deeper into the game. He hit the receiver right in his hands and on 4th down, and he just dropped that. But some other random stats I probably wouldn't believe that I'd be sharing. Fields has more touchdown passes than Matthew Stafford this year. More rushing yards than Christian McCaffrey. And even though Patrick Mahomes really don't fall behind, he has more game-winning drives than Patrick Mahomes as well this year. I wish him the best, but I don't trust the Chicago Bears organization in giving him what he needs, man. So all I can do is pray.
I ain't gonna say I was wrong on Justin Fields yet. He's had a nice little run of games. I got to see a little bit more out of him. At this point, I feel like we still want the trade that we got from the Bears. But I mean, he has shown some promise these past few weeks. He's able to display his talent, being a dual threat. They running more plays for him to run, and he's improving a lot better. I think Komet, the tight end, has helped him out a lot too, being a security blanket for him and getting Claypool. If they get him integrated into that offense, he can make some noise too. I really like Claypool. I'm also biased because Komet and Claypool both come from Notre Dame, but I think that I think that he's on the right path. Like I said, I gotta see more. He's a player that we've seen before. Unlike Sauce, this is his rookie year. Fields has had a year and he didn't do nothing last year. So I just got to see a little bit more out of him. I do like where it's headed though, and I hope I am wrong. Like I like Fields. So sky's the limit for him if he just continues to learn to be a good quarterback and just utilize his talents. Like you ain't got to go out there and be Mahomes. You ain't got to go out there and be Josh Allen. Do what you good at. You do what you do. You do what you're good at, you're going to win games because he has the talent. So we'll see how it goes. But right now, I'm not completely sold, but I like what I've seen these last few weeks.
Bravo. What you see about Fields, man? I mean, y'all was going with Trey Lance because his mobility. And then, Trey, he's out. But you got Fields right here. Fields is showing the mobility, man. How you feel about Fields?
Man, you know what? I don't know, man. I don't know if he's just having a nice little few game stretch or if this is something like that's going to turn into a future superstar. So I remember watching the game earlier. Again, sometimes I just get trapped watching trash games, and I had to watch a Bears game, and they brought up an interesting stat that said the Bears, like percentage-wise, throw the ball less than any team in the league. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with leaning on your run game, but that also says to me you don't fully trust your quarterback to throw the ball. So I don't know. I also think a lot of his success is going to depend on how they use him. Like, are you going to bring in a coach or keep a staff that's going to create an offense that is catered to his skill set? Or are you going to try to turn him into something that he's not? I think that's probably going to play the biggest part in his development. I mean, at the end of the day, like, he is a dynamic player. And I feel like, if they take advantage of what he does well and then work around that, he can have success. But I feel like if they try to force him, to be the NFL's pocket passer quarterback, I don't think he's going to be as successful because, one, he doesn't really have the pieces to throw the ball to. I mean, you got Claypool now, but I mean, Claypool, he's been good. I don't know if he's been great. And then you got a nice tight end. So if it's just going to be like, I'm going to run the ball and throw the tight end, we're going to be looking at what, Lamar Jackson 2.0? So I think it just depends on the coaching staff, man, and the type of offense they try to run with him. I hope he has success, but I'm kind of on the fence. I don't know if it's a few good games or if this is going to lead to future success.
Bruce Stacks, what's your take on the Fields, man? He's putting up numbers right now, and they're definitely moving in the right direction. They're not using Montgomery a lot, which is hurting some teams in fantasy because we thought David Montgomery was going to have a good season, but Fields is definitely carrying the load, running that rock. How you feel about Fields, bro?
Well, last week they didn't run the ball a lot at all anyway. No matter which running back they used, I guess they had to play catch up, keep up. So Fields did his thing. I guess I kind of buy into the stereotype, which is really not a stereotype. Ohio State really doesn't produce any NFL franchise quarterbacks. So the verdict's still out on him for me. He's a good athlete. I mean, you can see that in college. Like Bravo said, the Bears lead the league in rushing attempts. It's them and then the Falcons. So neither one of them really throw the ball a lot. So it's kind of hard to see. I mean, it's hard to get a full gauge on what he can do when he might only throw the ball 19 times a game or 20 times. I mean, if you do it, 3 run, let's say they get a 5-play drive and they run the ball 4 times and he passes once. I mean, you don't really know what you get.
Quarterbacks are smarter than black quarterbacks. That's the real thing. They believe the white quarterbacks are smarter than the black quarterbacks. That's why. Let's keep it all the way up.
Right, but also they're more disciplined, right? When we talk about the Jameis Winston,
are they? Or are they just perceived to be?
Perceived to be more disciplined.
Bravo, you've seen Bravo. I mean, not Bravo, but Pete. You coach middle school. I just went to a 7U championship game.
Mm-hmm.
When you have black quarterbacks, they teach them from a young age. If all else fails, you just run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
These young white quarterbacks are at these Peyton Manning camps. I mean, if they have money, you know what I mean? Like, I know a guy whose basketball team I played on before the pandemic. His son is going to he's about to go to St. X. He's going to drive him to St. X every morning or something. But they are learning how to break down the defenses from the pocket without running at 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, while these black quarterbacks are just being taught, well, you're faster than everybody, so if you don't see your first read, just run. And I just think that kind of hinders black quarterbacks' progression from a young age.
So you saying at the grassroots level, at the beginning level, some quarterbacks are taught to run and others are taught how to play the game from the pocket.
Yeah, I mean, now I'm not saying that you can't change that, but I'm just saying the early head start of reading defenses, I mean, by the time you're in high school, you almost know it like the back of your hand in comparison to trying to learn it once you get in high school or college.
Yeah. So speaking on the Justin Fields, should the Bears do until he learns how to trust his guys and be more disciplined with his reads and everything, should they continue to run the football with him? Or I mean, do as an NFL coach, do you play to your quarterback's strength until he learns how to play quarterback? If that makes sense, does that make sense?
I say do whatever is gonna get you wins, bro. Like whatever's gonna win me the ball game, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not really concerned on being a traditional quarterback or being a pocket passer. I want to do what's gonna get us W's, fam. That's it. Like again, at some point, the defenses will start to scheme for it, and you will have to have, other things that you can turn to. But at the end of the day, like I think it hurts them more than it helps them when you try to pull them away from their strengths. Like, let those quarterbacks do what they can do. Like, that's disruptive when you have a quarterback that can run the ball as effectively as he can. Same thing with Lamar Jackson, bro. Like, yeah, he might not be the greatest passer, but he can do enough. But at the end of the day, like, he still gives defensive coordinators nightmares because it's hard to plan for a quarterback that's that athletic. Because you really, like they said earlier, alluding to Sauce, we can't play man on him all game long because if he takes off, he's liable to go for 30, 40, 50 yards, bro, if we're in man defense. So I just think the coaches should definitely play to their quarterback strength while also helping them develop and get better in those other areas.
I agree. Don, how you feel about mobile quarterbacks, man? And just the knock on African American quarterbacks and white quarterbacks being compared.
I mean, I think the days of the pocket passers almost over with as athletic as these edge rushers is getting. You certainly need to be able to move around the pocket. Mobile quarterbacks is the future. A lot of coaches didn't really know how to coach them before, coach them to their strengths. There's a lot you can do with mobile quarterbacks. In Chicago's case, have they really ever thrown the ball a lot as an organization? I really don't remember it. I feel like they've always been a more physical ground and pound team. I feel like Fields is capable of making the throws, but where he came from, Ohio State, with some of the best receivers you could ask for, to Darnell Mooney and Chase Claypool now, I mean, he really didn't have a lot to trust and, I mean, really depend on. I wouldn't trust to throw to them guys. I'd probably take off every single time as soon as the DBs turn their back, take off down the field. But there is a certain knock on mobile quarterbacks, but I mean, our best quarterbacks in the league right now, I'm gonna just say two, Mahomes and Josh Allen, they are really predicated on their mobile ability. Patrick Mahomes is most dangerous when the pocket breaks down and he gets to really be creative. And Josh Allen's so big. I mean, if his first read isn't open, I mean, the first person isn't going to sack him. So he can move around and just make incredible throws with his arm power. So I believe mobile quarterbacks actually give you more room and give coaches with the ability more things to do with their quarterbacks for sure.
Rick, speaking on mobile quarterbacks, you got Daniel Jones in New York, right?
Vanilla Vic.
So we know when you say Vanilla Vic. So we know his mobility, right? But then I heard the knocks on Daniel Jones, and he's winning games. But I heard the knocks on Daniel Jones that he can't throw. So I mean, what's the read on that? How do we take that? Why doesn't New York play to Daniel Jones' strength if he's the starting quarterback?
I think the people who's knocking that he can't throw hasn't watched one single Giants game. He puts it in there. He's super accurate. So that's just he makes bad decisions sometimes. This season he hasn't, but in the previous years he's made poor decisions. I think that's just was something mental. But as far as like putting it on a dime, he's pretty accurate. And this year he ain't even had any receivers to throw the ball to. I read something today where it was like the receivers he has they've had a better offense than the Buccaneers with Tom Brady, Mike Evans, and Julio Jones and all them. So I think the reason why we are winning is because we actually had a head coach that is playing to his strengths this year. We do a lot of design runs for him. He had over 100 yards in a game this year rushing. So I think they're playing to his strengths. I think he's accurate. You just got to have a receiver to get separation. He ain't had one this year and really his whole career because everybody's always hurt. We probably have the worst medical staff in the NFL, bro. Like even when Odell was there, like everybody's always hurt. Like I don't understand it, but no, I think they're playing to his strengths this year. It's just funny to me, like Fields is getting all this notoriety, and Daniel Jones kind of doing the same thing, and he ain't getting nothing, and they have a winning record. But I get it.
You get it. What you mean? You get it? Why do you feel that Fields is getting the notoriety in the pub and Jones is not?
Because Because the Daniel Jones has never been given a positive mark since he's been in the league. He was drafted too early. He fumbles the ball too much. He throws too many interceptions. Like, he can't throw. That's another knock on him. Like, nobody's ever said nothing positive about Daniel Jones. Everybody wanted Justin Fields to succeed. Nobody's wanted Daniel Jones to succeed since he's been in the league, bro. And I don't think he's a great quarterback, but let's keep it a buck. I mean, I see Rib and Bravo over at Smile, and they've never said anything positive about Daniel Jones. Like, let's be honest. Like, nobody's ever said that. Nobody, not even y'all. Like, just in general, the media, the public,
Right.
nobody's ever said nothing positive about Daniel Jones or given him a shot.
Rick, all those things you said though. Go ahead, my bad.
I was just asking him where'd he get Danny Dimes from, because that was when they was all high on him when he had like them few good games. So he got some positive plug, and then he just
Few
nipped
good
it in the
games.
bud by terrible play. Yeah, he did it himself.
Yeah,
It was
What
high
was you about to say?
he did, bro. He was throwing those picks. He was fumbling, bro. He was doing all of those things. He earned all that.
Yeah.
So like, and he was overdrafted, but I don't think he's even the same caliber of player as Justin Fields. I think if y'all had Justin Fields, I think y'all actually be a true contender. And I don't even think Justin Fields is that great. I just think he's better than Daniel Jones.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the opinion. Like, it ain't just you. Like, it's the whole. There's never been nobody that was like, Daniel Jones is gonna be a stud in the NFL. There's nobody, like, even this year, his main knock in his career is that he fumbles the ball too much. He has one fumble in 8 games. Nobody's saying nothing about that. Or he turns the ball over too much. He has 2 interceptions in 8 games. Nobody says anything about that. We're what, 6-2? Nobody, like, it's all Saquon. It's all been Saquon.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, Saquon's had like an amazing season, comeback player of the year. That's my guy. That's my favorite player in the league. But Daniel Jones gets no credit for it. That's why I said
You think it's because the New York media? Because the New York media is a beast, y'all. We all know that. I mean, the New York media, you can go out and have 3 touchdown passes and rush for 100 yards. And if you lose, you got the front page of the New York Times slandering you, and I think it has a lot to do with the New York media, and the New York media sets the precedence for the rest of the country, right? So all the sports outlets, they all feed off of the New York media, and the New York media is so negative. I don't think Daniel Jones had a chance coming out the gate.
He hadn't. But let me be clear, though. Like, I don't think he's the quarterback of the future either. But I'm saying, like, nobody's ever like given him a chance. Like, he's having a good season. Like, I'm gonna give you an example. Como has Davis Mills playing this week. It's a fantasy thing. Como has Davis Mills playing as a starting quarterback, and he was high on Ellinger. And I was like, bro, why didn't you go after Daniel Jones? And he was like, why would I go after Daniel Jones? And I posted the fantasy numbers for Daniel Jones, and I posted the fantasy numbers for Davis Mills. Like, Daniel Jones has the same amount of points as Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers hasn't had a bye. But that's what, like, stuff like that, bro. Like, he just ain't gonna ever be given a shot, and that's cool. But like, Justin Fields is somebody that people want. I want to see Justin Fields succeed, but Daniel Jones ain't been given that opportunity. Let's keep it a buck. Ever.
I gave Daniel credit 2 pods ago, saying that he's making plays that have to be made. They just don't always show up in the stat sheet. So I gave him credit, but he's just not. He's better suited as a career backup. He had a shot. He just ain't going to take a team nowhere unless they were loaded. I mean, if you had a loaded defense, loaded playmakers everywhere like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, something like that, yeah, then he might look like something. I mean, look at Tua. And Tua's better than him, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, when you stack them up like that, it's hard to fail.
Yeah, man. Get that man a number 1 receiver, and I actually think Dimes can do some things. Because 1, you cannot sleep on him in the pocket. He will take the fuck off. And once he gets fully accelerated, he's kind of fast. So he got that advantage to him. But I don't think Giants have had some injuries, especially at receiver. You have Slayton, he's injured on and off. what's the other receiver that they had? That
Our
was
lead
solid?
receiver this year is Richie James.
Who's the other receiver besides Slayton that stays hurt?
Shepard.
Galladay?
Yes, Shepard.
Erlen Shepard.
Galladay, I don't
Yeah.
even consider him in the NFL no more. He's robbing the league right now, and
Mhm.
that was supposed to be a good turning point. It was supposed to be a good jump ball receiver, and yeah, like the Giants really need to be suing Galladay. But I feel like Dime. I like to call him Vanilla Vic. Dimes was never the nickname that I really picked and favored, but I believe with a number one receiver, he can succeed. He has guts. He's not scared to do anything. As a white quarterback in the NFL, I'm actually probably sure that's where speed comes from. Because when you got a lot of black guys chasing you, I mean, you probably want to pick up your speed a little bit, to be quite honest with you. Because they're gonna give you your best shot every time they get a hold of you.
Oh man.
But yeah, man, I think give him a number one receiver. They got Saquon, who's probably been his most consistent, healthiest receiver the entire time he's been in the NFL. I think he can do a lot. Media doesn't do any favors. Of course, the Giants is a very prestigious team in the NFL, so they have high expectations. But I don't know. I personally think they should be a little bit more patient with them, and this is coming from an Eagles fan.
Yeah, I bet so. So y'all can keep beating up on them.
Yeah, that's why.
Coming from an Eagles fan. But thank
Hold on,
everybody
we
for
ain't even
tuning.
played.
Oh,
We ain't even played the Eagles yet, Pete. Relax, bro. Don't say they keep.
y'all gonna beat. I know what the last
Nah.
bird did to you, the Hawks. I know the Hawks took care of business. You know what I'm saying, boo? Hey,
you watch that game? Did you watch that game?
Nope.
All right. There was two muff punts cost us that game, man. Same
Two
person.
muff punch.
Two of them.
See that comes back to focus and the discipline.
Yeah.
Why do y'all only play them one time this year?
No, we play them twice.
Do y'all?
Y'all playing the last season of the
Last game of the season.
last game of the season.
In December the 11th. We play them. The first game is December the 11th.
Yeah, well, we got like 2 or 3 weeks in between our matchups.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just got an update. Well, not too long ago. Josh Allen's out this week, huh?
Makes sense.
You must be watching following Ball Sack Sports, bro.
It ain't no truth to that.
Man, it's just same as Deal said. Josh Jacobs is. I don't even put that out here, man, because we trying to make it on this pod. So I ain't even gonna put that.
I don't even put that out there, bro.
My man Josh Jacobs said he didn't even leave the house yesterday, man. I don't know what Devin was posting. And he searched him though. He had searched his name though. He had searched him. He was his name was in the search bar. I said, "Cuz, what are you doing?"
Listen, bro. Everybody can get that blue. Everybody can get that blue check now. So there's gonna be a lot of fake information.
It's only $8. It's only $8 a month, man.
That's it.
Ron asked yesterday. Somebody retired. I forgot who it was. It's been wild on Twitter lately. And Kane almost considered dropping Josh Jacobs.
Hey man, I'm telling you, that waiver wire would have been jumping. That
would have went crazy.
What? Everybody would have been in there trying to pick up Josh Jacobs, man.
Well, it would have been a lot of bit.
I would have called him Rob Yahoo.
Hey, well, before we get off here, Rob, I got a quarterback for you. You just got to send me JT, man. I got Geno, and I got Derek Carr sitting down there. We got to get the trade deadlines coming up.
I don't want nothing to do with Derek Carr, bro. I'm already dealing with him in another league. He's awful. He's awful.
And then one last thing. Can I touch on this trade that Don pulled on Devin? Hey, man, why Devin called me think he got a good trade? I almost hung up on him. Do you hear me?
Devin's about
man. He said, cuz, look at the remaining schedules. I said, man, if he'll
you still play me. I play him week 11. And I'm gonna tell you this, and I say this with complete confidence. And if I'm wrong again on him, I'll be wrong. Devin's about to free fall. That's the worst trade I've ever seen. It made no sense for him whatsoever. Like he traded just to trade, bro.
Yeah, he was winning. Like
He
there was literally
panicked.
no need for him to make a move, bro. Like if it
I
ain't broke,
told
don't fix it.
I told him, I said, cuz you panicked, you played me. I said, this is my drafted team. I have not made no trades. I haven't picked up nobody really off the waivers. And your team is on bye, and you lose, and then you panic. I said, bro, you just gave Don's gonna finish third in the league now, man. He's gonna finish. He ain't coming up there with me, but he gonna finish third.
Don undercutted me because
you was trying to get in there.
Nah, Neil sent me a trade, and I was about to accept it, but then I seen it. It said as soon as I was going in there to accept it, it said pending with sipping tea in your hood. Undercutting me, bro. Undercutting me for sure.
Look at his face, bro.
Look at Don. Don's just sitting there so calm. Don, chime in on this, please. Yes. Why did you send Cuz that trade? You knew he was out there, man. He was on the whole stroll, man.
I honestly been trying to trade with Neil since after the draft, but I honestly didn't think he would accept that. I was kind of confused.
But you
gotta shoot your shot, man. You gotta shoot your shot.
I told Don the trade that Neil sent me. An hour later, Don was like, "Yes, a good trade." I went in there to accept it, and he had a pending trade with Neil.
He seen your message and went on in there and offered up.
And shot his shot, bro.
Oh,
I don't think anybody else in this league would have accepted that trade, though. It's just
Don Shiesty.
Don Shiesty, bro.
Hey, man. But Cuz called me and said, I don't know what Donovan's doing.
No, I don't know what you're doing.
Hey, I wish he was on here. I wish he was on here. Hey, listen, man. We're going to have to get him on here next week, man, so he can talk through it. He called me. He said, Cuz, I don't know what Donovan was doing. I said, what happened? He said, you didn't see the trade? I said, you did that shit? hey, man, get off I told him, get off my line, man. Get off of my line. Cuz, I was like, cuz you are sitting at the top of the league and you did that? Oh, okay. Yeah,